Canadians, Americans, members of the Commonwealth, and patriots the world over. Welcome to the show that tells you what they won't, exposing the fake news, conspiracies, and corruption within institutions that govern our lives, and red-pilling the nations one fact at a time. It's Weathering the Storm with your host, Canada's Red Pill, Billy Joyce. Hey folks, and welcome to another show. I'm sure you're probably wondering why I haven't reported on the Freedom Convoy all week. Well, to be honest, is that there's so much freaking news out there. There's so much to look at. Again, I'm going to remind you, if you really want to know what's going on with the convoy, when I say really want to know, do you want to be on the ground? Man, I wish I was on the ground in Ottawa right now. I wish there was some way I could be in Ottawa right now. I wish there was some way I could drop my responsibilities at work and at home and all that stuff and just go to Ottawa. I'm going to try to get out. No, not I'm going to try. I am definitely getting out to some sort of rally this week in Nova Scotia. But this video is not about the convoy. It's still happening. Okay, the convoy, they're still nestled in Ottawa, dancing and singing, and trust me, I'm going to have a video coming out that's going to make you guys laugh. I'm also going to have a video coming out that's going to probably infuriate you. And I ask you, if you're watching this, you enjoy the work I do, you enjoy what I'm putting together. I know I'm not live on the ground, but I'm trying to vid stuff from different footage. So Viva Frey, Ottawa Walks, You Ottawa Scotty, VidStorm, those are YouTube channels that do a lot of live streaming right there on the ground in Ottawa. I'll repeat them. Go look them up on Facebook. Viva Frey, Vivafrei, Ottawa Walks, so almost like Ottawa with LKS at the end. You Ottawa Scotty. That's a guy that went to the University of Ottawa who's named Scotty, I'm assuming. There's also VidStorm. There's a few others. I'll leave some links in the description. On Facebook, there's the Winnipeg Alternative Media that is there. Druthers is there. Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson is there. And of course, the real Pat King, who led a convoy today around the airport in Ottawa and got thumbs up and beeps and claps from police officers. Don't believe everything you see on TV, folks. And the video I'm doing right now, this video that I'm doing right now, the reason I'm doing it is because Nova Scotians, not just Nova Scotians, everyone, pay attention. One thing I've come to learn is whenever I see Dr. Robert Strang on television with any one of our premiers, if their lips are moving, they're probably lying. On February 9th, after, over 10 days of protest in Ottawa, although they'll never admit that it has anything to do with that, they're trusting the science.
And I want to take a moment and be very clear. The reopening we have just outlined is in no way a response to recent protests. Quite the contrary. It is based on following evolving science this entire pandemic. It's built on our experience and the knowledge of the protection provided by vaccines. This is why we're in a position to start to ease restrictions.
Trust the science because Dr. Strang says so. Well, on February 9th, when Tim Houston, the Conservative Premier of Nova Scotia, decided to hold a press conference with Dr. Robert Strang, they opened up, and for some reason, Tim Houston was on a kick of reassuring Nova Scotians, trust us, trust us, trust us. And he started by saying, there are changes coming, but you can trust in the changes that are coming because the one thing that hasn't changed, well, that's the public health team.
But we're at a stage where Nova Scotia is ready to make gradual changes, and we can make those changes with confidence. Our public health team has been incredible and is incredible. They haven't changed.
The public health team has changed because they sent home thousands, well, several hundreds, over 1,000. Someone told me close to 2,000. They sent home 2,000 workers in the healthcare system who were unvaccinated, and among them nurses, LPNs, registered nurses. Now, I have to give credit to Houston and Strang, because what they did is, in order to further divide, they gave the impression that they were helping groups. So what they did in a nutshell is they basically reopened all of Nova Scotia to normal, only if you've got the pass. You gotta have the pass. Gotta have the pass. But anyway, I'm going to get to that a little later. He did some good things. They gave a raise to continuing care assistants, because continuing care assistants have been leaving that profession in droves because they're underpaid and undervalued. So now he's going to increase the number of beds in long-term care facilities, even though long-term care facilities are pretty much locked down and not accepting any new patients in there anyway. That's his plan, and he's gonna give raises to the continuing care assistants. He's still complaining that the healthcare system is drained, is swamped, but he's not mentioning bringing back the same unvaccinated healthcare workers that were once applauded and cheered in the streets. I mean, during this press conference, he actually said, we need to get back, we need to remember when we were cheering for all the healthcare workers, and we were with our pots and pans on our patios. Yeah, you idiot. That's when everyone was working. That's when a lot of people hadn't even had their first or second dose yet. That's when people that were completely unvaxxed were working in the deadly COVID clinic wings, and everyone was deeming them a hero. And then, like I say, November 31st, 2021, you decide that those people aren't heroes no more, they're zeros, and you send them home without pay, not able to feed their kids, not able to put food on the table, not able to pay for electricity bills, possibly fighting with their spouses over money, over this, over that. Then you've got unvaxxed. You know the story. But what I find really interesting is Tim Houston goes on to, really start buttering up Dr. Strang and calling him a brilliant, and I'm not sure if he used the word fearless, but again, he insists that Dr. Strang has not changed.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
Well, here's the problem. We're going to go back to December 2020. I believe it was December 16th, 2020. You can actually find this on YouTube, on the Nova Scotia Government YouTube channel, where you see the press conference from December 2020. Again, over a year ago. And Dr. Strang is there. And a journalist asks him about the passport.
Follow up.
Have you ever discussed about like a COVID-19 immunity passport, this type of measures?
So I think that the immunity passport that's been talked about is a bit of a flawed idea. We don't know enough about the vaccine yet to be able to say, if you've been vaccinated, you can do certain activities, or you can be less, you don't have to worry so much about your COVID precautions than somebody who hasn't been vaccinated. We don't know yet that the vaccine studies have been done to show that the vaccines are very effective about preventing symptomatic COVID disease. We don't know yet whether the vaccines actually will stop people from being asymptomatic but still being able to transmit the virus. So until we get more knowledge, the idea that somehow proof of vaccination will allow you to have be less restrictive in what you can do or the protocols you have to follow, it's premature for that. I would also be concerned about doing that, or we're all setting up kind of almost two classes of citizens, those who do not, those who have vaccinated and those who don't.
Setting up kind of almost two classes of citizens, those who do not, those who have vaccinated and those who don't.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
And for now, masks are still required in indoor public places, and proof of vaccination is still necessary.
Proof of vaccination is still necessary
for discretionary activities.
And then, again, and I'm not sure, because what happened is I found this video that one guy made with two different clips of Dr. Strang talking about the passport. I found the original because it was actually dated, so I wanted to verify it. So I went on the Nova Scotia government website, and what you guys just saw was literally footage from the Nova Scotia government website. This next footage I'm going to show you is from the same person that posted the two of them stuck together, and it's from some time in 2020 or 2021. Because remember, again, the press conference that I showed you where Tim Houston, is singing the praises of Dr. Strang and nothing's ever changed.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
Well, that was February of 2022, like literally yesterday or the day before, depending on when you're watching this. So listen to what Dr. Strang had to say. You heard what he had to say already in December of 2020. Listen to something else he had to say either in 2020 or 2021.
We're not planning on giving out specific, proof of immunization cards.
3 months later.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
And proof of vaccination is still necessary for discretionary activities.
And then on that same press conference back in December of 2020, Dr. Strang mentions, or a journalist mentions, a target of 70% Nova Scotians vaccinated would be a good target. And Dr. Strang seems okay with that number, 70% back in December of 2020.
So that 70% was given by Dr. Watson Creed. That's the minimum target that we feel we need to have Nova Scotians.
And then there's the briefing that Strang had in May of 2021, and appears there 85%.
And if enough people move up their second dose appointments, we could reach the required minimum level of to give population immunity of 85% of all those who are eligible for vaccine by early September.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
So that 70% was given by Dr. Watson Creed. That's the minimum target that we feel we need to have Nova Scotians.
And of course, at that same briefing in May of 2021, he at this point they're trying to push the second shot. Okay, because we know that he had said at one point he was making excuses that someone had ended up in the hospital with COVID-19 after their first shot, and it was because they had gone to a bar too shortly after. So basically he's giving the impression that, well, the only reason that person ended up in the hospital is because, he didn't wait long enough after his first shot. So he's insinuating that if he had gotten the first one, he wouldn't have ended up in the hospital, right?
While we push our immunization program, we need to continue to follow public health protocols.
The vaccine is not the tool in the short term to try to get things under control.
Achieving immunity takes at least 2 weeks after the first dose, a fact Dr. Robert Strang says some have ignored.
There are a couple of people in hospital because they went out to celebrate immediately after getting their first dose of vaccine.
Well, it seems that kind of narrative seems to change all the time, because back in May of 2021 was when Strang was encouraging everyone to get their second shot and line up for their second shot so that everything could go back to normal in September. I don't know if people forget this stuff. I think the province thinks we're just a bunch of nutcases that can't actually do their own research and go look. Oh, that's right. A large proportion of people I love, unfortunately, may fall into that category. But anyway, let's go back to May of 2021 when Strang is saying that we'll return to the new normal in September.
And that's much earlier than we were anticipating when we started the vaccine program. So this is in our hands. When the opportunity comes, get your appointment booked. The sooner we get population immunity, the sooner we'll be able to get back to our new, or we'll be able to start our new normal.
So he's saying this in May of 2021, and we can go back now to December of 2020, when Strang back then was admitting that these were clinical trials.
we'll get more information as on all these vaccine products as the clinical trials which are underway, which have given the evidence to allow them to be licensed.
And then in December of 2021, I think it was December 30th of 2021, at that point, Strang is pushing the booster. So then it's the booster that's going to keep things normal, I guess. I guess the booster is going to get us back to normal, and it's the booster now that can prevent hospitalization. Even though when they were pushing the second vaccine, it was because it could prevent hospitalization and serious illness. But what gives? I don't really understand.
So by getting as many people as possible boosted as quickly as possible, we are getting additional protection against severe disease, but more importantly, we're really reducing the chance for the virus to be spread.
This is December of 2021. He's saying boosters will help prevent spread. And then on the 9th of February, he's saying that hospital capacity is at 105%.
Even the number of new admissions to hospital looks like they've reached their peak, but we have to acknowledge that our healthcare system continues to be under tremendous pressure with bed occupancy over 105%.
So what happened is I was commenting on Facebook, and someone commenting because I created this new Facebook page called Canada's Red Pill. Look for me, Canada's Red Pill. And they sent me a Freedom of Information Act, like a Freedom of Information request that they made to the Nova Scotia government. And it's actually posted to a website called Canuck Law. And what I did is I actually took a video of me scrolling through this page. And I'm scrolling through this page right now as I speak to you. I'm showing you what I did as far as scrolling. And you can feel free to pause this, rewind it if you need to, pause it, look very carefully. I'm not gonna preach this stuff to you, okay? I just want you to think about the stuff that you've heard come out of the mouths of the likes of Dr. Strang or Tim Houston or Theresa Tam or Stephen McNeil or Ian Rankin or Jason Kenney or Doug Ford. I just want you to think about those words that we've heard repeatedly about hospitalizations, and then take a look at what you're seeing on the screen, and you'll see that, you know, the data is from 2015. You're going to see that it pretty much flatlines from 2015 to 2020. And then in 2021, you'd assume what they've been telling us on television that would skyrocket. But no, it looks more like a ski slope. And then we'll remember the time that Dr. Strang told us that Omicron is no big deal. Omicron is bad. Still go get your shots. Go get your shots because it protects it. We protect the most vulnerable.
There are a lot of unknowns about this variant and the concerns that the vaccines aren't doing their job. But the evidence and experience to date is showing that people who are fully vaccinated remain with good protection, especially against severe disease.
Folks, Dr. Strang tried to scare everyone again the other day in his press conference. He said 55 people have died since December. This is still very dangerous. Now, hold on a second. I forgot to take something with me. I want to show you guys something.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this sheet. Can you guys see this sheet? Okay, well, I forgot to calculate. The totals. Okay, so maybe I'll pause the video and calculate totals. But this sheet represents, after Dr. Strang said that 55 people had died, and after I saw the statistics showing that 105% of people 80 and over have gotten their double vaccines, well, when I go look at these numbers, so, you know what, I'm going to get a pen and paper right now. You see, we're always hearing these clowns on television tell us trust the science. Well, when I was in school, they told us science, you take data, you crunch the numbers, you analyze the data, and that's how you do science. So you'll notice on this list, I worked backwards. Okay, so at first I only had 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s plus. And I was going through them from every single email I got from Communications Nova Scotia from February 9th, working backwards. Okay, and you'll see how those numbers progress. And you'll see that I got all the way down to right here before I found someone who was 59 or under. Okay, so everything, every death, all the deaths reported for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 emails. 11 emails. So let's say on average I get an email every 2 days with death counts. You're looking at a month there where every single person that died in Nova Scotia was over 60. And again, my condolences to anyone who lost loved ones. Okay, but right now, we live in a province where 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds who are unvaccinated are still being singled out, are still being left out of sports activities, kids still wearing masks, I believe, unvaccinated people still being treated like second-class citizens. And they're telling us, go get your 2 shots, go get your booster. But yet we had a prime minister, fully boosted, who tested positive and had to isolate for 5 days. Okay, so when you look at the rates, well, in the 90 plus, okay, so what I calculated here, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. 8 90 and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in their 80s. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 in their 70s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in their 60s, and 2 between 59 and 50. So 24, 38, 42, 44 total deaths. 44 total deaths, and I've got 24 of them 80 and over. Another 14, 70 and over. So 38 out of 44 deaths reported in Nova Scotia, going back 15 emails. 38 out of 44 deaths in Nova Scotia are 70 and older. According to the charts we just saw, people 80 and over have 105% vaccination rate. People 70 and over have 102%. People 60 to 69, 90. Or no, 98. And then 59, it's 90. And then you're ranging anywhere from 90 to 92 for all the other age groups. When you look at hospitalizations for the last 2 months, you're looking at anywhere, at any point, from 80 to 60 or 65% of everyone in the hospital were either boosted or double vaxxed. And as far as the unvaccinated goes, it looks like there aren't very many people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s unvaccinated, being as those rates are 105, 102, 98. And considering that there aren't very many people under 60 that have died of COVID, even during this Omicron, why is it that we have all these lockdowns? And for those who are saying the unvaccinated, could anyone explain to me why all the outbreaks I've heard are in long-term care facilities or at universities or at schools where most people are vaccinated? Why is it that in my office building, the only case we've heard of is someone who was double vaccinated who went somewhere on business who was double vaccinated? Someone said that they may have gotten it from an unvaccinated child. Why is it that I know a family of 5 where both mom and dad and 2 of the kids are double boosted. They all tested positive for COVID, but the 3-year-old who's not jabbed, they didn't test positive. But you see, they don't tell us this stuff in the news. Instead, you got Tim Houston saying, I trust Dr. Strang. He's so incredible. He doesn't change. Please don't go look at other videos because you're going to realize that I'm a liar and my nose grows faster than Pinocchio.
Dr. Strang hasn't changed. He's the same compassionate, thoughtful, brilliant leader that has led us this far.
They're lying to us. Shut off the TV. Support the convoy any way you can. If there's one near your town, go. If there's one in your capital city, go. This isn't about unvaccinated truckers. It's not about even the unvaccinated at this point. It's about freedom. Freedom to do what we want with our bodies and not be lied to at every turn by crooked politicians and the media who's complicit in dividing a country that's trying to unify, that is unifying through a group of blue-collar truckers and their supporters. God bless the truckers and God help the likes of Tim Houston and Dr. Strang. God knows they're going to need it. I'm done now.
If you enjoyed this video, you may want to take a look at other videos you find on this page. Don't forget, if you like it, push the subscribe button under this video, and feel free to like and share with all your friends. Follow me on Twitter by following the link on this page. If you want to interact, feel free to post a comment, but please, no obscenities. Thanks for watching. Billy Joyce signing off and reminding you that I'm here to help you weather the storm.